I've been feeling a little frustrated at my job lately, not because I hate my job or my boss sucks or I'm burning out or anything like that. I feel frustrated because I feel that my growth has really stagnated, my pay has stagnated, and I don't see how I can increase on that, improve on that, no matter how hard I try. That is the main problem that I'm having. Because you see, all the regular advice, like, you should work hard at your job, you should ask for raises, you should take all these extra certifications and hope they give you a better raise. I've tried all that. I've done the work. But 6 years into the field, I'm starting to feel like I've hit a ceiling, that no matter how hard I try or not try, that things aren't really going to drastically change anymore. So I wanted to make this video to kind of ask myself and to just share some of the ideas so that if you're in a similar situation like me, if you're frustrated, you're not really sure what the next steps are, you're just wondering like, how can I make more money? How can I actually, live a life where I have more freedom to spend time with my family, travel, pursue my own projects and dreams? Like, what exactly are the steps I need to take to get there? That's the reason I wanted to make this video. And I wanted to kind of start this out by saying that as human beings, we all have an inherent drive to grow. It feels good to level up, to improve, right? So when that growth stops, when we stop feeling any sort of progress, and in this terms is financial progress, right, is money, then we start to feel anxious. We start to feel frustrated. And I've reached a point right now where I'm getting a little annoyed. I'm annoyed that I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into my job. I'm working really, really hard. I'm doing the things I need to do, and I'm asking for compensation. But just because of the structure of how everything is, it doesn't really seem like it's a possibility. There needs to be some other steps that we need to take, right? And I want to kind of share this with you because I've considered some options. Because if you wanted to ultimately make more money, I think a lot of us have the same goal, right? We want to make more money by working less so we can do all these other, fun things. What other things we need to do? And I started to consider what are my options. If I wanted to make money, I could obviously work more, right? But that would mean that I would give up a lot more of my time, right? If I know a lot of people are working second, third jobs, and it's extremely stressful, really draining on you. And it kind of defeats the purpose of making money because now you're losing time in order to spend time with your loved ones, do the things that you actually like. So that's out of the picture. Option 2, I could, of course, go job hunting. I should try to find another job or something like that. But the problem here is that my worth as an occupational therapist, and a little background about an occupational therapist is I work in healthcare and I basically help patients regain their independence after medical emergencies. Like they need to walk, get dressed, use the restroom, all these kind of things. I'm the person that rehabilitates these patients. But my worth as a therapist is tied to the market. So even though I look for a job at another place, they can only pay me a certain range, right? Sure, I might get paid a little bit more, but is it really going to make a big difference? So that there is also kind of out of the picture. Now, there's also a third option. I could, of course, hope for a raise. And I've tried this. I've asked for it. I've hoped for it. I've waited for it. Yet it's kind of out of my control, right? And it might even be out of my boss's control, to be quite frank. It might be the organization as a whole has all these rules they need to follow. So waiting for a raise is an extremely risky thing to do. Because if you're trying to make more money, gain more freedom, and you're dependent on you getting a raise at your job, then you're kind of leaving it up to other people to decide on your future, right? So I didn't think that was a very, very viable option as well. For a long time, I was kind of like, I guess I just have to kind of keep working and hope for the best, right? I mean, I think a lot of people are in that situation where, yes, you're frustrated, yes, you want more, but you just don't see a path out. I started to ask myself, okay, what are the things under my control? And what I discovered was that there was a fourth option. And that fourth option is to simply focus on improving your own skills, my own skills, right? And that kind of brought at least showed me a little light at the end of the tunnel. Because ultimately, when I think about how I bring value as a therapist or value as any individual really, is that you inherently have to solve problems, right? Do whatever that you do with all your skills, solve the problems, you document all the information, you communicate it to the world so that you're able to give value and then people pay you for it, right? At least that's how I make money as an occupational therapist. So when I think about the skills I need to improve, people are going to like, oh, you got to specialize in this thing. You got to make sure you research this really trending sector in medical field or whatnot. But I think that specializing in skills are a lot more simple than that because you simply have to think what are the core skills that you use every single day. And in fact, not just healthcare, but any other profession, we all use very similar skills. And as long as we can continuously develop these skills and adapt it to the digital era, the internet, right? Then theoretically, our income will continue to rise and continue to grow. I think a lot of people have discovered this, but the majority of individuals, at least in the working force, hasn't noticed this power. The research that I've done has really showed me that we live in an era right now where there's a lot of opportunities and the world is changing from the industrial age to digital age. So there's a lot of money to be made on the internet, but a lot of jobs, we're all kind of tied down to, I guess, a location where we don't really utilize the internet. So our ability to make an income, to give value, is really limited to a very, very small population. But if we're able to leverage these skills, these core skills that we already use every single day, then yes, theoretically, you can continuously grow. So I started to focus on this a lot more. And there are 3 skills that I realize I have to really, really hone in on and just get better and better at it. So I want to share those 3 skills with you. And this is kind of a journey that I'm continuing to pursue. So let's start with skill number 1, right? Skill number 1 is problem solving. Everybody is a problem solver. Whether you're trying to figure out your finances, figure out what to eat that day, you're a specialist in a job, you're just running a cashier, whatever it is, you're problem solving every day. You're trying to solve a problem so that way you can actually give some sort of value, gain some experience so it can continue to improve and progress, right? That is essentially how life works. The more problems you can solve, the bigger the problems you can solve, then the more valuable you are. I solve problems every day as a therapist, right? I'm trying to figure out how I can get my patients to get better and all that. But what I started to do a lot lately is I started to think about what are the problems that I need to solve in my own lives. And a very common problem right now is finances, right? How can I make more money by working less? That is a problem. So once I realized that, and in order to improve my skills at problem solving, I had to kind of break it down. How do I actually solve problems at work? You obviously need to identify what the problem is. You need to find out a way you can commit to the problem and continuously pursue it. You need to seek the education in order to solve the problem. And then you need to take action so you can actually get feedback and experience in order to keep on improving at it. And I started to apply this to a lot of different areas in my life. I apply it to my health, my finances, my relationships, gaining new skills, whatever it is. But as I'm solving more problems, as I'm getting better at doing this, I'm gaining all this experience, right? And with this experience, it gives me more confidence that I can make an impact in the world. It gives me confidence that I know what I'm talking about. And that's why the more problems that you solve, when you apply it to a whole, that's kind of how you start to move forward. At least that's what I think. Because again, if you just solve problems at work, you are only valuable in that sector. But if you can solve problems in your actual life, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to relate to the problems that you have. So this gives you inherently more value, more experience, more worth to the world. So that's at least the first skill that I believe everybody should be focused on improving on. Solve your own problems and get really, really good at doing it because that's going to give you experience. Now, once you get this experience, what is the next step? Because the second skill you need to improve on is writing. You need to document down that experience you're getting, the lessons you're getting, the information, because we are in the information age. The more information, the more experience that you have, the more potential that you have to give value to other people, to create opportunities for yourself. So writing really, for many people think about it as more like, oh, it's something left for the creative people, for the authors and all that. But writing is simply the process of documenting down information through writing, just putting things down. Because you can only remember so much things at work. You know, and like when I'm working, at least, like I have to constantly write things down to remember it. And if I want to pass information to other disciplines, right, I have to make sure I'm writing down the treatments I'm doing at work. So if you're solving a problem with your health, with your finances, you're learning something through a book or a video or whatever it is, are you writing those things down? And are you trying to solve and figure out and decipher that information so that it's actually useful for a future you? That is a very, very powerful skill to have. And in fact, the most successful people in the world, I'll promise you, a lot of it starts with the foundation of writing. Because writing builds ideas, writing builds your experience, writing builds the proof that you know what you're doing. That is why writing is so powerful. So that's at least a second skill that I'm working on improving. As for the third skill that I believe is so powerful to master and that everybody actually uses to some extent is communication. You have to learn how to give information to other people in a way where they can understand it and use it for their own benefits. I'm creating this YouTube video right now, basically to practice my communication skills because I've written down a bunch of these ideas that I have. I've done the work, the research, and all this to problem solve it. And now I'm basically trying to figure out how I can share this in an effective way where people can understand. And the more that I do this, the more I realize there is so much to this little bubble of communication, right? Because of course, I can simply tell you what I learned, or I can do it in a way where I relate to your pains, what you really want to know, to break things down so it's easy, it's clear for you to understand. There's so much to communication because ultimately, all of us, we're educators, right? We try to teach people, and that's how we scale because you can do a certain job really, really well and get paid for it, or you can get really good at a thing and educate a bunch more people on how to do that particular thing and solve more problems. The more people you can help, the more opportunities open up to you. So if you can communicate your ideas that you have done the work to problem solve, to write down and then communicate it, then potentially your income can also exponentially increase in time. So those were at least the 3 skills that I'm trying to build, I'm trying to focus on, because I think just, the world has changed to a point where just working hard isn't enough anymore. And people are looking for other solutions. And I believe that as long as we continue to focus on building these skills, eventually when we combine them, we will be able to create opportunities, especially in this new digital age where social media, artificial intelligence, there's so much happening in the world. And to not take advantage of it by improving on these 3 skills will really handicap you in the long run. So just wanted to share this video for those of you who are feeling frustrated or stuck in their job or just wondering what the next steps are. I think this is the next step. And at least that is the path I'm currently pursuing. And I'm hoping this leads me down to the next thing that I need to learn, to master, to figure out. And I'm going to do my best to enjoy that journey and share it here with you guys. So if you enjoy this video or you like this video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more. I'm on this journey to really try to help as many people as possible kind of figure out this age-old idea where if you want to make more money for less, to figure out how to live a life that's purposeful with more freedom, what do I need to do? That's what I'm trying to do, and I want as many people to go along on this journey with me. So that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Christian Wan, and I'll see you guys in the very next one. Later.